6, we be in the mix with that rare candy paint job on the whip. I need food for the kids, money for the rent. Fuck a lockdown, baby, I can't do that shit. And I don't never vote, cause I'm fucking broke. And either way, I know the police ain't gon' leave me alone. On a plane by to visit Glen Rock, need crypto, told me I should bring the Glock with me. So I packed up my piece and I'm sliding. Cause we might get caught up in a riot. Middle finger Trump, middle finger Biden. Fuck a left, fuck a right, is you riding? Know you love to see it, dudes rocking. Ain't no politics, baby, we just talking. From the birds to the bricks, we be in the mix with that rare candy paint job on the whip. Who you with?
Are you guys familiar with the BTK killer? Like, you know what it is, though, right? Like,
yes.
The guy. Yeah. It's just, you don't need to be like deep dive or anything. Sai, do you know who that is?
No. What's this?
Oh well, I mean, I guess you don't have to worry about him now. But yeah, he's pretty.
The Brad Thomas Kelly killer.
Yeah,
kind of spoiled the joke a little bit there, but yeah, Brad the author Kelly, there was a guy in the Midwest who for like 30 years he was like doing Joker mode stuff with the police. He's like, yes, I killed this woman in the hotel and bound, torture, kill. Like that's his was thing, BTK. And there for years and years they couldn't find this guy. And I think it was in Wichita, Kansas, if I'm not mistaken. And the problem was they kept looking for a guy with like schizo motel room newspapers covering the windows, like Freak, like David Fincher 7 kind of thing. Like they were looking for a guy like that, but it turned out it was just like quote unquote like a regular guy who was doing it the whole time. He had like kids, a wife, and he was like a little league coach and like worked at the church and everything. And I think he had like 10 to his name, 10 bodies to his name, all women too. Like brutal stuff. But by the way, his name is Dennis Rader, by the way. He was a big Kansas State Wildcat fan. There's really funny pictures of him in Kansas State Wildcat gear. Like he's like really excited. Like it's like foam finger stuff. I don't know why it's funny to me, but it's like it's just like yeah, I don't know. So but anyways, he was like part of the community and stuff. And they talk about how normal he was. However, I think it was like a Midwestern like don't ask him about anything kind of normal. Like I know Midwestern people where they're like, yeah, he's normal, but don't ask him about that.
Yeah, Denny's a good guy, but he's a little odd. Yeah, he's a little unusual.
When the police searched the place, when they first got the tip, now they found out through his dog. I think this is a breach of the law. I might even be able to free this guy, to be quite honest. But like not advocating for that. But if I was a lawyer, highly paid lawyer, I would at least go on this grounds. They found
contempt of court.
He was through a genetic match of his daughter. His daughter had a pap smear at Kansas State University. So I'm like, wait, you can just get pap smear information?
That doesn't
solve a murder. Right. I mean, apparently you can, go Wildcats, I guess. But that was they had all, they found it through that. They go into his house and raid the house, and he has like one of those coat closets in his house. So right as soon as you walk in, where you put your coats and everything. There was an unzipped bag full of like pliers and like tie wire and like duct tape and anything you would need to like kill a woman with a strangulation method. He didn't bowl, and it was in a bowling bag. Never went bowling.
Yeah.
So like the wife's like, I had no idea. It's like, okay, the coat closet. Women know the coat closet more than anybody. Like you obviously you're like, well, Dennis, what's that bag there with the pliers? You gonna fix something? And then he had of course a shed. Gotta have a shed. And
tough shed.
It was a tough shed.
Shed day, National Shed Day.
Don't even give me
Brad's. Yeah, wait, that's a one. That'll take minutes and minutes.
You won't even know Brad wrote a book if I start talking about that. There was a shed, and then of course just full of like him wearing like women's clothes pictures, like psycho stuff, like everything. So I will say though, the most damning thing that I saw in there that stuck with me forever was Dennis Rader was like a dog catcher, like a volunteer community like dog catcher guy. And he was also part of like some committee, some HOA style, like city committee of like your weeds on your lawn are too long and you're going to get fined. He was like one of those guys. And they showed him like in a video he was doing for the city. and he was like putting notices on people's doors with like fines and stuff. And I was like, can you imagine if 1974, this guy doesn't get caught till like 2005, but in 1974, you got a fine. And you're just like, there's something creepy about that fucking guy. Who gives a shit about the weeds in my yard? And the wife's like, okay, I told you to trim them. First off, like, not everybody that does something to you is just a freak like that. And then the whole time, you know, stewing, like just slow cooker stewing for like 30 years, and then he gets caught, and you're just like, it's like it's just the greatest thing ever. You're like,
I told
not
you.
only I thought the weird thing was like he, beat somebody up once, but no, he killed a bunch of people, and it's
14
like
people.
but you gotta like that. And then I would sell my HOA notice signed by Dennis Rader.
There you go, man.
Like
there's a big market for that memorabilia.
Totally. Or something. Yeah, somebody like that would like buy it or something. But like I said, we have the BK author here with us right now. We have the BK author.
No relation.
No relation. No relation. And you recently wrote. Well, it's not out yet, right? It's not technically.
It's out on January 12th, so we're pretty close. So
pretty close.
Monday, January 12th.
Yeah, I don't want to brag, but I've already read the book.
Awesome.
I've already read it. It's called The Earth and Dark. And Brad, it's fantastic. I don't know what to tell you. I want to deep dive and all that stuff. It's not out yet. I want people to go out and check it out. But I think, and I was talking to Kelby Losack of Agitator about it because I believe he's reading it right now as well. And we were talking, like, I think he just saw the first page, and there's just kind of, as an author, he's like, yes, and I think a lot of it is just I think a lot of it is just you understand what that industry, which I'm talking about, this it's literally people going into sewers and doing manual labor and like salt of the earth, like blue collar stuff. And so much when you write about that, you have to know it, because if you don't, it's kind of insufferable. Right. If you're like making up guys that don't exist in the construction industry and things like that. But if you know about it, people could read 1,000 pages on it, you know, and so, without getting too much of your personal life and stuff, like your book is not necessarily about the sewer, but it is.
It is. Yeah. It definitely is. Well, so I would say probably maybe a third to a half of the book actually takes place in the sewers of Detroit. It's a sort of primary setting. And the troop of the main characters are guys who work in sewer rehabilitation. And that's something I still am involved with in my day job. And the book itself was sort of inspired by a time period in which I was much more involved in the field in that kind of work. And so, I had spent, there were periods where I spent most of every working day in the sewer, old, 50 to 100-year-old sewers under the city of Detroit, working on rehabilitation projects. And, I don't want to take I don't want stolen valor. I didn't really do the physical labor. I'm sort of on the inspection side.
We did audit that. We talked to your old boss, and we just decided we do have facts checking if you do lie. So
yes, good. Fair enough. Well, no, because
your W-2s, we got it all.
Yeah.
we got
everything. We have everything.
Right. Fair enough. But you do. Even still, I spent tons of time with the guys who that is their job, doing the stuff that these guys are doing in the book, which is basically fixing old sewers so that they don't collapse and create sinkholes and all of this. And it's brutal, thankless, disgusting work that somebody has to do fundamentally.
Yes.
And, so that in and of itself, that social dynamic or whatever you want to call it, was interesting to me. I don't want to call necessarily like the laborers and stuff that I met and got to know a little bit. I was very friendly with a lot of them. I don't know if they would consider me a friend exactly. But I did get to know, a couple dozen guys pretty well. And so the characters that show up in there are sort of an amalgamation of some of them, and how they interact with each other, and the ball busting that goes on, and this sort of tough exterior, but also, it's really important to me to not get stereotypical, because they're all people with just as much dimensions as the characters that are showing up in stories in the New Yorker or whatever. To me, they're more interesting actually, because their life actually has texture and depth and ups and downs to it,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's an interesting environment for sure. And part of the reason that I decided I was going to go that direction, not only because it's such a disorienting place and sort of archaeologically interesting, like there were I was working for a while, and then like a stretch of sewer that's 100 to 120 years old, and you'd see graffiti from the guys who built it, like scratched into the concrete or the brick.
Wow.
Right? So like Walt 1920, and you're like, holy shit.
And then you see Walt's gay.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Well, in 1920. Yeah.
Right.
Christmas gay.
Yeah,
Christmas gay. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I don't know, that stuff was cool. And then like I realized that, I would occasionally have at a dinner or a party or hanging out with some friends, and I would tell them about spending time in the sewer, and they'd kind of lean in and their eyes would sort of light up, like they were actually paying attention. And I was like, oh, there's something here. Like there's something here that's interesting to people. So I kind of started leaning into it.
Extremely interesting. We the company I used to work at, we would help out companies like that. They were the sewer inspections, the lateral camera people that like they'll just set it. They pull up in like what looks like a moving truck, basically. They'll pull up, they'll open the gate, they'll open up the manhole, and then they'll like put out this little yellow gate, and then they'll put like a little like Tonka truck down there with a camera on it, and they'll run it down, and then like one time like I was on a job that was just like 24 hours after 24 hours because the camera got stuck. And it was like millions of dollars lost on this. Like, no, seriously, because like the guy comes out and he's like, we're losing millions of dollars. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, that sucks. He goes, well, it's not my money, but we are losing millions of dollars. And then like all of a sudden, like the longer it would go out, we were taking like shifts being part of this company, and there would be more like all of a sudden a guy, like a fancier guy, would come out more pissed off the longer it would go out, and all of a sudden a guy in a cowboy hat shows up, and we're in like California, and we're like, oh no, not the guy with the cowboy hat. And then he's like, we're losing millions of dollars out here, and spit and chew all over the floor. But you would see on the camera, like on the inside, I would like, can I see the footage? I would ask the guy, like, can I see the footage? And you look and you're just like, is that shit? Yeah. And it is. Yeah. Like it's like that's crazy. Like it looks so, that's true. It's sometimes best case scenario. And but like you look and you're just like, that's like, it looks crazy. It looks like archaeology. It looks like finding, and then the guy gets out, right? And you see on the Tyvek suit covered in what I would believe to be a mysterious brown liquid. And then the dude would like straight up, I swear, after that, he goes, lunchtime. I'm like, okay, dude. And then he just rips off the like doctor gloves, the blue like doctor gloves, eats the sandwich. And I was I was just like, and then I asked him, I was like, you don't want to like, you want some like Purell or something?
Yeah.
You know, like
a little bottle of Purell.
He's like, okay, libtard, but
those guys will wear that as a badge of courage to a certain degree.
It's
I thought the same thing.
Yeah, and they'll eat. They'll be like, one guy goes, "I had my shots." That was what he said.
Yeah.
I had my shots. I said, what? What shot? First off,
everything.
Don't tell me that. I'm down to riff on what those do. But they have like every form of like hepatitis shot, every form of all this stuff, and not even because one guy I asked, I was like, "Do you think that works?" He's like, "No." He's like, "These things are bullshit." Yeah. And I was
they get a lot of the guys that work down there all the time. They get what they'll call the sewer flu. I just got sick. I don't really know what it was, and I was over it in a couple days. And they'll just get like deathly ill for like 72 hours.
Yeah,
and who knows what that is?
Petri dish.
I think this was made in the lab. I think this was made in the lab somewhere else other than the sewer.
Yeah. Right. Well, it is funny. I was literally I went on in real life. I ranted about the dissolving illusions thing, how sewers basically saved us from so it is interesting. Those guys are heroes. You're a hero, Brad, because
not me, but
no, you are. No, just kidding. but no, they saved us from a lifetime of living destitute above
I'll tell you, I'll tell you what, that dude with a cigarette hanging off his lip, who's kind of a dick and has got a couple felonies on his record, who's working down in the sewer like on a daily basis, he's done more for the environment than basically anybody who's ever glued their hand to anything, you know, any of that stuff. It is significant. You're right. It did, like, we basically, like, there were periods of time where, you know, especially in Paris is where the like sort of quote unquote modern sewer design came about, and people were dying of everything, and they had no idea what was going on. They thought, well, it smelled like, they thought it was in the air, they thought it was, you know, whatever they thought it was. And some crackpot came up with the idea of, like, what if we take the stuff that we're shitting in and we don't put that in the water that we drink? What if we do that?
Yeah. What if you kill yourself? How about that?
Right.
We're trying to solve this is a phantom that's killing people.
Right. Exactly.
It's crazy. It's crazy that we had, like, you know, just the pinnacle of society, like, you know, like John Locke or Dostoevsky, and we're shitting in water.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's like,
what a great day of writing! What a great day of writing the Brothers Karamazov.
Yeah,
let me just go dig a hole in the backyard.
Yeah,
let me use this Egyptian vase. That's crazy. It is crazy.
Oh, well, one of the things that contributed to it, and I at one point for this book, I kind of got deep on the research, and so I forget some of the details. But one of the things that sort of led to this idea of, like, oh, maybe it's the water, was, I think it was in Paris, but it might have been another European city. They realized that people who lived downstream of the brewery weren't getting as sick as people who lived upstream of the brewery. Because basically, the stuff that they were kicking out of the brewery had a certain amount of alcohol to it, and it was killing some percentage of the bugs. And so the people downstream were getting, you know, they're still drinking garbage water for sure, but it wasn't quite as bad as the people upstream. Wow. And like, there must be something to this, right? It's interesting how long it took humanity to figure that out.
That's crazy. And it's funny because you talk about the salt of the earth person, and I think you are very fair to that person in there, because you don't patronize them, you know, like it's not like, this guy, he's the real rock star, man,
right?
You know, like he's like, meanwhile, like, you know, I always hated that when it's like a guy who's like making like 200K doing like nothing, and it's just like, but you're the man. I'm like, can we financially equal these things then? Well, but you don't do that, but you have a scene where the academic industry comes in, or field comes into play, and they talk about the people in that annoying kind of way, where it's kind of like, well, somebody has to do it, but why you? You're so like above that. And I've always, as somebody who, you know, had like, quote, like at my company, I had the smart guy label. This is not something I applied to myself, but it's like I was able to like read a paragraph. So I, you know, at my company, so it was just kind of like, okay, Glenn can launch a spaceship at this point, if I believed in that sort of thing. But like,
look at Mr. Valedictorian over here.
It's like, he's a basic math, like, you know, it's like it was as though like a beautiful mind, like Russell Crowe, like when I was at work. So, but like my own friends who had like better jobs than me would really like, and why? But why are you doing this? It's a very essential job. Everyone agrees with that. But why you? And it's that comes into play, and it really, like, I was like, that's exactly what it's like, because your main character is a little overqualified for that job, but also he's like not that good at the job.
No, he sucks at the job. That was important for me to try to get right, because just to give a little bit away, I mean, the main character, the guy Jim, he's very well educated, and he gets sort of ousted from his academic position. And you know, if you have a PhD in the humanities and you're not working in academia, you might as well have nothing on your resume. You know, which maybe that's how it should be. I don't even know. But so he ends up sort of joining up with these slumps, as they call themselves, and he sucks at it. He doesn't really know how to use power tools very well. He doesn't really understand the very sort of basics of like physically constructing or building things. He's sort of trying, but he doesn't know what he's doing whatsoever. And they give him a hard time about it, as they should. I mean, I think the one thing that is sort of missing, you know, there's an interesting transition. You know, I've worked in a couple of other than this job, I mean, I've done like I've worked on boats, cleaning boats and scraping zebra mussels off of hulls and buffing them and painting them. And I've worked in like kind of construction, like shower surrounds and crap like that. So I've done a bunch of jobs in that. And I've also worked in like, you know, making pizza and frying chicken and stuff like that. And, you know, there's a lot of ball busting in that world.
Oh, yeah.
And I think what people outside of it, or ladies, honestly, don't really understand is that's actually essential, because everybody has to test each other to make sure that they're like emotionally stable enough to handle shit if it gets a little woolly. You got to be able to take somebody making fun of you to a certain degree. But then also if they do it too much, you have to be able to push back, right? Like you have to be able to take a little bit, but if you just let people pound on you, that's not good either. It's everybody's figuring out like what everybody else is capable of and making sure they're okay. And so that's I don't know, man. I think when you lose that, you end up losing something. You know,
and honestly, like a lot of times we would hire women at the company, and they would a lot of times would be like, you know, like, let's be like gangbanger lesbians. So you're kind of like, all right, I thought they didn't study at like, you know, NYU. So we're like, we can say things. And and for the most part, like, and they would almost come in like way too hot. And I'd be like, wait,
they're overcorrecting.
Don't do that. Because for me to, once you do cross the line, like now we have to like start figuring out what I can say back, you know, like, and it's kind of funny when that you're so right though. Like there's this kind of like ecosystem of it that corrects itself and like filters itself out and kind of, obviously there sometimes intervention is needed, and a lot of times in these industries you are dealing with people who have, like, to be honest, like come out of like prison for doing violent crime. So definitely pick and choose your battles. I always say if you're in these industries, but it's like, but the higher up you move into these academia, into all of these other things, like the less you can say. And it's just like, I'm literally like, when you are in academia, half the time you're working with words. Like, you're like, actually, my job is words. Like, so I should use the full extent of the English language. Yeah, you're a word cell. Every
man should have at least a year where they're only working with other dudes. And, you know, like, I'm sorry, it's just, it doesn't have to be a lifetime thing. It doesn't have to be, you know, I'm not saying, like, repeal the 19th or, you know, whatever. Is that the one? But I mean, I do think that is, like, critical. If I didn't have that, if, you know, at a certain time, you know what I mean, because you meet dudes that don't ever have that, and it's just it's a little different, you know, it's a little rough. You know, it's a little
man, bro, when a guy's like 40 years old and you can tell you're the first time that they've ever like ever got like a ouch, you know, like, so like, wait, that is, am I your first? I mean, I'm honored, but you should have told me something. I'm not that type of guy. But it's always we had a guy one time who came to the company from Charles Schwab, which I'm like, what happened? Because we also had another guy who came from a police dispatching job, and he was at a really entry level construction job. And I was like, why'd you quit? He goes, oh, it's too stressful. I'm like, yeah, but you left the department. Like, that's weird that you left the department. Like, you don't ever leave that. Turns out a child pornography case. So like, turns out that, but this other guy, not the case.
That was,
like,
that was his stress relief, dude.
He's like, what do you want me to say? You want to just fucking say it? I will. Yeah. But you know, he was like, it was just like it was kind of odd. And he just like disappeared like a fucking, like a Yojimbo or something. Like, he just like left the town afterwards, after everyone like exposed it. He's like, all right, well, I'll hit the dusty trail then. And but then this other guy was at Charles Schwab, and everybody would, like, me, I'd be like, in my head, I already knew, like, you lost somebody a lot of money. Like, you fucked up really bad,
or you stole it, or you something.
But people who don't know what that industry is, and they're just like, they're like, so do you have like hella money, man, and stuff? Like, you know, and I'm just like, I think quite the opposite. I was like, this man's in more debt than you'll ever be, like, right now. And it's really sad. He wore that on there. But like, there were a few times, like, we were, you know, he would join the fantasy football league. He was a cool guy, but you could tell, like, I can't really be mean to this guy. Because and I'm like, dude, I guarantee you some like guy that you lost a bunch of money to is like has said things about you that he would like to see you torn limb from limb. You know, like this is crazy, but it's just a different thing. Like it's like every man talks shit, but like it's whether the door's open or closed. Is like the separation of the industry. Like that's what goes across the socioeconomic lines is the door open and can the person hear me?
Right.
You know,
right.
It's very
that makes
strange.
a big difference. Yeah, that makes a big difference. And yeah, there's there's also something that happens in that dynamic too, especially if it's a group of people that are working together all the time. And this can get over the top too, is there always has to be somebody who's like the lowest person on the totem pole.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not necessarily what their job is relative to anybody else. It's I don't know, it's how they fit into this dynamic in one way or the other. And they end up, if they don't have their shit together, they end up staying there, and they end up being like, everything ends up being their fault. Or this can happen where it's like, you know, because shit goes wrong, obviously, all the time. And that person can end up kind of eating that shit constantly. It can all just roll down to them and it can start off kind of weird. Like it can start off just like, you know, everybody, and this happens in the book, everybody screws up.
Yeah.
But it's like, if this person screws up and they don't roll with it, or they don't own it the right way, or they don't take care of it or something, suddenly everything is their fault. And I've seen those guys get like kind of washed out too, just because everybody like kind of hates them, to be honest. Right?
Yeah.
And they can't recover it. They can't make up that ground and like get up one notch on the totem pole. It can get, you know, it can get kind of rough, you know?
Yeah, I saw one guy was digging up, like exposing a gas service or something on like this thing, and he just was like hammering with this like spade shovel, like just hammering the ground, and like you just kept hearing a clink, and I'm like, dude, I don't think you should be like hammering at this thing right now. And then all of a sudden, like he pulls up this thing, he goes, it's just PVC pipe, and I'm like, that.
Oh
he
my
goes,
God.
He goes, oh, this must be a dead end line, and you look down the street, and it's just sprinkler lines all going up and stuff.
Right.
And I'm just like, it's just like, because it's part of construction is hit that shit, dude, come on, fuck, hit it, like, don't be a pussy. And it's like, but it's like, yo, the PVC pipe, like, don't do that. And like, you know, he were already hand digging around that line because machinery was too sensitive, would make it too sensitive for the stuff there, and the dude's just like like at a butcher shop, dude, like just absolutely hitting this thing, and he just PVC pipe in his hand, and it's just flowing with water, and you're just like, dude. But he owned it. It was like kind of funny. And again, for anybody who's like, wow, what got ruined, he went to Home Depot and fixed the PVC pipe. That's what happened. You have to make
sprinkler line is the best thing you can hit.
Yes.
If you're gonna hit something, sprinkler line is the best.
Yeah, not a gas line, not a fucking
water's the worst though. Like water main, like if a water main blows, like it's the worst. And people always think like hitting the gas line is like, well, you'll explode. And it's like, no, it takes a lot to like actually make a gas line explode. Like, like, cause they always say like you'll, when I started working in that field and I'd see guys working on gas lines, they would have cigarettes going. And I'm like, what? Like, and he goes, no, dude, you can't flick a lighter around a gas line. Right. And I was like, I don't know about but like to me, I'm just like it's like Zoolander. Like I just you picture like the Zoolander gas fight,
orange mocha frappuccinos.
But like so like one, it's like I guess I'm like you have to light the cigarette in your truck and then come out and like work on the gas line because guys smoke like chimneys on construction site. It's like cigarette. It's like Don Draper Mad Men level of cigarettes on construction site. They're like the last smoking industry.
No, it's still like it's still the 80s in terms of like smoking adoption. It's still the 80s out there for sure. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. Yeah.
So you know, another part of your book deals with like lost kind of civilization, almost like other world realm. It kind of taps another male urge of like, what if I just like removed a brick and there was like another world behind it? I don't think women have that urge. I don't like, I think they're just like, well, why would you bring that brick out? Like, just, we like this world, you know, like even if the world's worse, you're like, I got to see what it is, you know? And there's like this almost Lovecraftian like draw to it.
Mountains of Madness.
Because like I don't think women understand when they see H.P. Lovecraft. They're like, what? But the ice, don't go there. The ice is bad. And you're like, Yeah, but you got to see what's there, and somebody else is going to do it.
Yeah. How do you think we explored the planet?
Yeah.
We'd all just be sitting in East Africa, or whatever the story is. We'd all just be sitting there still if we didn't have that urge.
She'd be going, it's hot, and then I'm cold, and you're like, well, you could go find other places. Yeah.
Like the history.
We built a nest here. Yeah.
Sorry. Like history is infrastructure to be like maintained, but like the pipes, it's cool, man. I didn't finish it. I'm a couple chapters deep, but it's
okay, man.
Yeah, it's I also I just like you got the writing chops, man, and you got the. I'm seeing the words like acrylamide, and I'm like Leo DiCaprio meme point. I'm like, oh, cool, dude. Like, yeah, acrylamide. Yeah, it's
spell check never knows what to make of that one.
That's cool. We're beyond. Yeah, that's when you know you're cooking, when you're beyond.
Right.
Red underlines, and you're like, I'm powering through. Yeah.
But well, I mean, were you like as a kid like dig to China type kid? I was.
Yeah. For sure.
I think maybe that's just all boys, but like because I was the only child, so it was kind of like, well, there's a shovel in the garage, and I have 8 hours till my mom gets home.
Yeah.
So like,
I was like, if you went to the beach with a family, it was like, I swim for a little bit, and then you just see how far you can dig a hole with your hands.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Get it? I and still there is like that internet thing. You see like a meme of like dudes at the beach digging a hole, and then every guy that walks by starts helping.
Yes.
Something weird. I don't.
in construction, we would, they would say the hole can't just be open. Like somebody has to like watch it. You take shifts and stuff, and you'd always get the general public come up. Only the men come up and look what's going on. In the hole. Every time.
They gotta know.
Women will go, Greg. And they'll go, get back, Greg. Like, don't fall in there and stuff. He's like, let's see what it is. And like one time it was pretty cool. Like we had like kind of what you were talking about, those old ones, but this guy had a brick water line. I've never seen it in my life. Brick. And I was just like, what? And it was just, you really never know what's there until you dig. And like, I have a new house. I live in a new area and everything. And I just like, part of me is like, wow, this place is beautiful, but I kind of want to dig underneath it right now. How do I know?
Right. No, you don't know. That's that. You mentioned the brick water main. We had, I've run into a few times. I mean, most of the work I've done has been in the city of Detroit, and Detroit is, by American standards, a pretty old city. I mean, there's older places, St. Augustine, New York, Boston, whatever, but it's pretty old, and it had its heyday a long time ago. And we've run into him a few times digging stuff up, wooden water mains, believe it or not. So they basically took a tree. I think it's a specific kind of tree that has a little bit more oil in it or something. I don't remember. It's some kind of particular pine, I believe. And you basically take the tree and they cut it in half, and then they groove a hole in it, and then they put it back together and bound it with like metal strapping, and then they just put one next to the other and literally ran drinking water through it, which seems insane.
It's nuts. I mean, but it's like at the time, like that probably was like the craziest thing any human being had ever seen.
Yeah. No, and it worked. They're not still in operation, obviously, but you're right. Like, this is sort of the tagline of the book. There are things underground you would not believe. And part of that is actually the man-made infrastructure down there, because it's all hidden. It's all covered up. You don't really know what's under there. And to me, part of the thing is like, there's not that much difference between something we put in the ground 100 years ago and something we put in the ground 1,000 years ago. It's sort of hidden. It gains this kind of allure and mystery. Nobody really knows the purpose of it. And we ran into stuff digging all the time for work that we're like, oh yeah, nobody knew this was here. There's no drawing of it. And it's, it's a 12 by 12 cube of concrete, 12 foot by 12 foot cube of, and you're like, nobody knows what this is, why it's here.
Well, the like, you'll watch a movie like There Will Be Blood when they're putting in the line, right? Like on the people's property, and like you'll see the way that it's put in, and like other than some machinery that might be able to lift that, and you just don't need 50 guys lifting up a iron pipe at this point. Like you're like, it's kind of all works the same way. Like you'll get this like fancy new pipe in construction, like this is polyvinyl, this beautiful thing, and it's so much better than that. Well, it's still going to take a fucking convict with a crowbar to put it into the ground. Like it's still gonna, and it's a guy going, damn it,
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Just ripping a crowbar with like a cigarette in his mouth. And it's like, all you have to do is just put like a vaudeville uniform on that guy back in like, and it's the same thing. You could transport it. And like your book deals with that, where it's just like, it's kind of a lot of shit's the same. And like the similarities are equally as scary as like what's different.
Yeah, the technology, like there's not that much like new technology in a lot of this stuff. Occasionally there's like a laser level or something shows up, but for the most part, you're doing stuff the same way they've been doing it for, decades, since they invented like the diesel excavator or whatever.
Right.
It's like, but pretty much been the same since then.
It still requires like a lot of the same, maybe less human beings, which again, like, sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes it's a bad thing. Like where it's just like, okay, like we've automated a lot of this stuff and now we have unemployed people like everywhere. And I don't know how good that is, but or like jobs get finished so fast and it's nice, like, cause the job gets finished fast. But like, I feel like you're like, well, people used to have years worth of employment. Now they have to take like 3 or 4 months off in the winter or go drive Uber. That's a big thing in construction is you'll work all summer and then drive like Uber or take a seasonal Amazon job. And it's just like, it's weird. And I mean, not to say that the labor shit was better in these older times. It probably wasn't, but it's just like, it's strange, it's strange.
But there is a little bit of, and this is not to like over dignify it and play that role of like, this is honorable work, but there is something, if you Uber, you can't, how to phrase this the best, if you worked on a bridge, let's say your job, it sucked, it was backbreaking, whatever, it didn't pay all that well, at least after you're done, you can drive by and you can be like, I contributed to that. Whatever I did in my life, I helped build that bridge. If you Ubered all year, I mean, what do you really...
That's how it was with the Hoover Dam. They were proud. They didn't make, well, they actually made good money compared.
They probably did. Yeah.
But they were proud of what they were working on. That used to be a thing, and you risked death and bros did die during that. But they're you could tell your grandkids, I fucking built that shit. We visited that a couple years ago. It's insane. Yeah. You go down to the bottom of it. It's an insane. Anyway, sorry, I just interjected.
Well, we had a guy. I was working for a company that would set power poles. Right. Yeah. Like, so, which is a crazy process to watch. Sometimes it requires a massive crane if you got to take it to a backyard. Sometimes you do it from like a boom truck. And there was a guy, an inspector who was, no joke, like 90 something years old. Just a guy that will just not, the minute he retired, you knew he was going to die. He was just one of those guys where it was like, just meant to do this forever. And then God's like, I'll take you now. Thank you.
Right.
And his name was Vern. And he was like drunk all the time. I mean, just old guy. And he just one of those perpetually guys making that noise. And, he would just shoot the shit with you, though. And if you asked him, like, if you asked him, how did this happen back in 1957 or something? And he would just encyclopedic, like Wikipedia. It was like a hyperlink. He was like a Wikipedia hyperlink for 1957 power poles. And he would, he said, I was like, I asked him, how did you set a power pole back in the day? I was like, was it just like 50 guys grabbing it and like lifting it? And he's like, yeah. And I go, did people die? He's like, oh yeah. And he's like, yeah, my buddy. He's like, a buddy of mine. We came up in I forget what the Edison Electric, which is LA and stuff. We came up together and we were on a job and it was like 15 guys lifting up a power pole. It just fell on his head and he died. And I saw it and I was like, damn. And he's like, yeah, that shit used to happen, and I was just like, damn, dude. And it was like, so yeah, the machinery definitely helps for sure. It's not great, but it's just, he was like really proud. He was like, yeah, if you ever drive down, Highway 101, like that thing.
I put all those poles up.
Yeah, there's housing there because we put the electric,
right?
All this stuff, and it's like cool, and nobody, and people might roll your eyes at it, but all you do, if you just like do something at your house without calling a professional and like get it done, like you'll brag about that for the rest of your life. So powering a whole neighborhood's pretty cool too.
It is pretty cool. Yeah. And I mean, you gotta like, you do have to like, I think, give room for people to be proud of. I mean, so many of us have like computer toucher jobs. And it's like, that's fine. And some of that is important and needs to be done too. But there isn't like a whole lot you can sort of hang your hat on, And And
people don't care if you code. Like, people really don't care if you coded something. Even though,
doesn't-
like, that's
not
a
the same.
huge job. It's literally the job to have right now. But if you were
Yeah.
just like, yeah, you know, Candy Crush, you know, like if you, he's like, it's a lot of that stuff happens. A lot of zeros and ones, and that was me. And,
Yeah, you
and
could
if
build
say
a
that,
couple
people
of
are
my
like,
buddies,
yeah,
couple
no
of my
one
buddies
cares.
died in the candy mines.
be like a
couple of my
billionaire.
couple of my buddies got severe Adderall poisoning.
Right.
Yeah,
You lost them.
in summer of 2018. Yeah, it was.
No,
it
you have
was
to
rough.
reach like high net worth as a nerd coder to break free of that, and even then, people are like, "Okay, you know, it's
Only
you know what I
nerds
mean?
care
It's
though.
just like-
Only nerds care. Like, it's
Yeah,
not
okay.
like you couldn't tell somebody at like the guy you want to impress doesn't care that you coded something. And what's funny about this is on the internet, I don't know why this is ever a debate, because I never think the framing of it never is a real person to me. But there's always this kind of like, some guy will be like, men need to go back into the trades. They need to go back into the trades, and we need to have like American men building things here, which I'm like, yeah, sounds good. Then there will be a guy going, no, you're trying to get men back into these. We need men in STEM and like doing all of these things, because those, I'm like, there is no human being weighing those two options. That's not a real person. You either do manual labor or trades or anything, or you're in that. There's not a guy sitting there with two matrix pills in his hand. One of them is coding, and the other one is like installing fire sprinklers. It's just not. Like, at the very least, you settle in on an engineer job or something that might be in the construction field. But for the most part, it's like, how about guys just like pursue the thing that they want, and we stop lying to kids that they can be anything they want? That's the thing to me, is like, there are so many kids that should have been told that you might install fire sprinklers when you're 10. Like, let's have some fun, go play baseball, go play football, go chess club, whatever you're going to do. But like, your job's like more than likely, your skill set more than likely is going to be this. And let's try to make sure you're the best at that, because we will benefit from it. You will make some money doing it. But now we just like, we're like, all men need to be pushed into this field. I'm like, no, I don't want, I don't know that everybody, these are square pegs and round holes a lot of times.
Yeah, no, I think you're totally right about that. And I think there is this thing where it's like, yeah, it's not that we need to be a bunch of dudes who are probably better at being programmers or engineers or doctors should be doing the trades necessarily. But a lot of the guys who ought to be in the trades and thinking about setting them up so they start down that path when they're 19, 20 instead of like 28, and they spent the last decade wandering around with no idea what to do and feeling like a loser, right? Instead, it's like, hey man, did you think about being an electrician? Yeah, so here, you know, if you go to school for this bit of time, you know, and I don't know what the math is, but in 2 years you'll be making 60 grand, and a few years later, if you don't screw it up, you'll be making 100, and you know.
And there used to be
thinking about how to set those people up. Yeah,
and they're like, it is hard to break into that stuff, and but it's not artificially hard. It's not actually hard to do that. You know, it's made artificially just culturally. And there used to be just like, you used to be a doctor, but also know how to like do a dovetail joint in your garage and shit. And that's kind of like,
that's good.
Everyone just now you're like a doctor and you DoorDash and you watch Netflix, and that's like what doctors do. And it's fucking crazy. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. It's very straight. I think it's just some deeper cultural malaise, you know, that there's some kind of aspect of manhood in particular that's just very like lost on that, you know. And and I think, you know, in the 2010 there was kind of that, I think we were talking about this, like the hipster kind of like mustache thing, which everyone clowns on, but at the same time, at least like Lebowski, at least it was an ethos, you know, at least it was a fucking
right
where it's like they were at least trying to have some kind of craft and some kind of real life fucking thing, you know. And I commend them for that. I mean, it was
I was kind of there for the hipster thing, man, you know, like and a lot of my friends were hipsters, and I guess in some ways I never had the mustache and I never had the haircut, as you can tell or whatever, but there was something. It did have this weird like last gasp at authenticity thing to it, sort of like this is the last time anybody's going to even attempt to be authentic in any way. You know what I mean? After this, we're all done.
Late stage authenticity. We were exactly. In that.
That was a little weird.
Yeah. It was it's rough because I remember how annoying it was at the time, where it was like a guy get like, you know, But at the end of the day, you're like, how hard am I going to clown on a guy riding a bike who is like doing woodwork and
like I yearn for that again these days. Like what we clowned on, it's like, yeah, I'd give anything to go back to those days.
Right.
Like listening to vinyl and stuff. I'm just like, you know, again, if you're like, most people are annoying about their hobbies if you ask them about them. So it's like not like nobody's like, I do it for the love of the thing. Like guys pick up guitars to get women and then they become really good at guitar and then love guitars. You know, like it's like kind of like there's your way in is not always what keeps you there, you know? And so if people are annoying about something, and we're now in a society where people are so, not everybody, but like there are a lot of people who are scared to be earnest about anything. And just being like, yeah, I just really like doing that. Right. And they're always thinking about becoming a guy who likes X.
Right.
And you're like, why don't you just do it and not worry about what I think? Because I would take the guy out of that sentence because you're too worried about what I'm going to think. Random face on the internet, which is not good. And I like, I've just, there's this kind of like, is it lame? I know it's lame, but I really like this. And I'm like, it's lame for you to qualify everything you like, you know? And again, if I wish the hipsters were the thing we all could make fun of again. It's like, that'd be, to me, it's like it's like making fun of like the California condor at this point. There's like 3 left.
Right. There's not that many hipsters left. Yeah. And I don't know, man. I too, I sort of yearn for the hipster period. You know what I mean? Like it was, I had fun in the hipster time, and I guess I'm just also older now too, so it's not like I could live the way I was in my 20s or whatever. But it was cool, man. There was some decent music, and like there was a sense of humor to it too. Yes. Sometimes it could get self-serious at times, but it also was kind of making fun of itself as it went, you know, which I think is something that can kind of get lost in the retrospective on it. Yeah. I mean, there was an element of like, I've got the twisty mustache, but also there was like an element of like, look how stupid my dumb twisty mustache is. Right. Isn't that funny? Like, it was a little tongue in cheek. So
yeah, no, I mean, there was a social aspect of it too. There like where you would just, the reason I say that is like, okay, everyone makes fun of like the hipster craft beer establishment. I'm like, I love those places. I still do. Yeah. Like they're cool. Like it's like, first off, everyone talks about they love bars. Like bars don't exist anymore. Like they're, I mean, if they do, they're on their last leg. Like these things right now, like what everybody else does now is like hit their vape pen by themselves. In their house, and you're just like that. Okay, at least these people were like genuinely finding like a communal aspect to the fun thing they were doing. You know, like even if they thought they were I mean, the whole joke on hipsters is you think you're so individual, but there's a million people doing the exact same thing as you. But really, it was like, yeah, but you'd go to like a downtown like urban district, and you just see a lot of these guys like around, and most of the time they were nice guys. You know, most of the time, they and you know, you could make fun of them a little bit or something. But nowadays, man, it's like everybody feels like they're like so individual and stuff, but really they're just like atomized but everybody kind of does the same thing. You know, it's just odd.
Doing everybody doing the same thing, but it doesn't even have the social aspects to it to the same degree.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, you know, you said the bars. There are still sort of bars. So, every, I don't know, month or two, me and a couple of friends, we're doing like a dive bar tour of Detroit area, not in any organized way. We just all pick a shitty bar to go to. Right?
Bar crawl.
That we've never been to. And you know, sometimes you go and you're like, this is actually nicer than we were trying to go to.
Yeah,
and then other times, dude, the last one we went to that was a fucking wreck was like, I literally, first of all, you could get a Coors Light for $2.50.
Wow.
Doesn't even make, I don't even understand how they're making a profit.
Yeah, I don't even think they sell them for that at the stores.
I know. Yeah. We had a moment where like, did they not like, I think they're like point of sale systems fucked up. This isn't
off the back of a truck.
And you know, and there was like some fisticuffs just outside, right? Yeah. Like nothing crazy, but guys yelling at each other. And then there was quote unquote karaoke, which was the as unorganized as karaoke could possibly be. And then at one point I went up to get another beer, and the guy who was tending bar, who might have had a little touch of something, the Down syndrome, possibly, I'm not sure. Of course, he's wearing a big medallion. He's smoking a cigarette, which I haven't seen anybody smoke a cigarette in a bar in Michigan in a decade. And he's karaoke singing. So I have to wait until he
Yeah,
finishes singing. What is that song? I Want to Know What Love Is.
Okay.
You know?
Foreigner, dude.
Foreigner. That's kind of a heater. Yeah.
And it's not a bad song.
Yeah.
But I go up there and I have to like wait for him to finish singing it. And it was kind of, I kind of felt nostalgic for a time. I don't even know if I ever actually experienced it. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, this still exists.
Sounds like the bar probably was losing money, but the owner was just too lit.
Yeah, that used to happen too. A guy used to buy a bar and then you just put all the proceeds up his nose and it would go out of business a few years later, but it had a little golden era.
Well, now I think women's businesses are the ones that like lose money and it doesn't matter. Like, because I like the boutique stores. We go out here, we have one where like this woman's just sells. It's just you have to knock on the door first. This lady, she goes, "Sorry, the wind touches the door weird." I'm like, "Well, no other place's door in this shopping district has that." And she opens it up, and she just has an apron on, is doing zero work, but has an apron on. And and she's her store. She just goes, "I sell sustainable things."
That's it.
Oh yeah,
and so
I already love it. I want to go.
You would love it. You would love it. Half the shit you'd want to buy it. All this stuff in there. But a lot of it's like stuff that you can tell, like if you like health things on Instagram, that it suggests you. Like, so it's like it's meant for the women that to like I saw this on Instagram. You know, it's basically nowadays millennial women have the I saw it on TV store, but I saw it on Instagram store is now the like when you would buy like a Rotato or something like from online or like the Perfect Pizza Stone thing. Like they would laugh at people that would do that, but they'll buy like shit that, you know, whatever. But like she was selling dishwasher pods that were sustainable, I'm sure, and I would hope so at least, and it was in a small mason jar that would fit, and I only know how to say mason jars in terms of weed measurements. It would fit like a half ounce.
Yeah, so you're talking.
So it was like this much, and I'm like, so how many loads of dishes is that I get?
That's a week.
And what I mean is like we were the only people in the store. There was nobody else coming in the whole time, and I'm like, there's no way this place makes money. There is no way, and it's not even like and she's white, and the reason I say that is like I know there's not some like other thing happening where like when you'd go to like a Vietnamese store in like San Jose, like you're like, okay, like I know exactly how this place stays.
Well, money laundering,
cash only, like okay, blah blah blah. I didn't hear anything, you know, like this is all happening. Like this lady, I'm just like, no, I think like her husband or her dad or maybe even her, maybe she just has a bunch of money, but they're just looking at a big red minus number every month. And they're just like, oh, well, you know, but like bars, I feel like bars might have been something like that. Bars and just like neighborhood restaurants. Like I feel like they might have just kept open, you know, like nobody's going to open up a new wood paneled bar called like Coach's anymore. Right. Like no one's going to do that anymore. Like what we're looking at right now is like a dinosaur. If it's still alive, it's like a very rare protected species or something. Like, nobody's going to do that anymore. But I'm like, I think there was so much, we were able to just see things like lose, but like we liked it and it just stayed there like for a long time. And now I don't think that margin for error is there anymore. That ability to keep something slightly afloat, like the movie Dodgeball, like the gym in Dodgeball or something. We just don't really have that anymore.
Well, we don't have, I mean, and also like, there's a much more sink or swim thing because like real estate's way more expensive, and so you can't operate on almost nothing at all. I mean, that's part of the reason I think my friends and I are kind of go into some of these dive bars, because it's like by the time the like generation alpha is sort of ascendant, and they're not going to Coaches.
No,
you know,
they don't drink. They're not even going to drink. I don't think. Yeah,
which I have mixed feelings about.
Yeah.
But. Yeah, they don't. And so those bars will be the first ones to go because most of their clientele is already on, CPAP machines, if not oxygen.
Yeah.
So it's not long. They're not long, they're not going to be around for a whole lot longer. So yeah, these places are just going to dry up, and then, then there will be nothing in their place, which somehow will
dishwasher
be better,
pot.
I guess.
The dishwasher pot lady's coming for that spot. Yeah. I mean, I like, but yeah, you brought it up though, like that. I'm kind of on that as well, like the drinking thing, where I'm like, if these young people if young people stop drinking, but we're still socializing, I'd be fine with it. But I know that those two are the hand-in-hand aspects. Those two are correlated. Is that they don't go out and hang out with each other. The way
it's what they're doing, and it's what they're doing instead. Yeah, for sure.
Like
for
they're
sure.
you know, you just don't see kids like playing outside that much. Like when I do, I'll see kids playing outside. I'm like, I'll almost like single tear. I'll just be like, this is beautiful. Like two boys just like throwing the football. I'm like, this is incredible.
Our neighborhood's like that. Like it's like a stepping back in time. We actually have like gangs of kids roaming the streets.
That's cool.
Yeah,
like
cool.
It's like Stephen King kids, like Stephen King kids. You know,
yeah,
it's kind of like these are crazy.
Yeah, for like a split second, it's kind of annoying because like they would even like come up to our door when we first moved in, and we're like, "Hey, is the old kid still here that used to?" You know, and then like it was like a little bit annoying. I'm like, "Hang on, this is actually way better that this is happening than not happening." You know, and and there's actually a Halloween. You know, when I lived in like in Portland proper, no Halloween. There's just not a Halloween.
No, I got two trick or treaters,
dude. Horrible. Yeah.
And there it was a brother and a sister dressed as Thing 1 and Thing 2.
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah.
So I don't even know if we can count that as 2.
Yeah,
we just got Thing 1 and Thing 2, and that's it. And I felt
what
bad.
The fuck? Like what is happening, dude? Like I'm sorry, like I don't even think I'm that nostalgic of a person, but it's like, yo, what are we losing here? You know, I don't know. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to separate. Like, do I just want it to be like it was for me versus like, what are we losing something of value? And like, I don't know, man. I had a good time going to bars and hanging out and getting drunk and making mistakes and you know. Could I have had some of those experiences another way? Probably, yeah, but but you're right. Like having that social environment where you and your boys are going out and doing something that's, you know, a little risky, maybe not crazy, but like, you know, you were kind of pushing the envelope a little bit. It was going to be funny. Somebody was going to do something stupid. I feel like that's big. If kids aren't doing something like that, to me, it's a big missing out for sure.
I think a lot of kids are scared to get filmed. Like I think at a bar, and I mean this at a bar, not necessarily like, because I've always thought like the talking to women, not going up and talking to women because of Me Too I always thought that was a little bit of a cope, but being at a bar, which I guess maybe the two could go hand in hand there, but being at like a bar and just like blacking out with your friends, like at the appropriate age to be doing that. 35 years old, but you know, at the appropriate age to be doing that. But where like, you know, all of your friends are probably gonna like at some point maybe quit drinking, or maybe just scale back a little bit, or just drink beers in the garage instead of the bar, like, you know, just normal guy stuff that would eventually happen. I think a lot of kids are just scared of like showing up in a video, or like their friends just like taking a picture. I mean, that stuff does last forever, and it's like it's really sad, because I mean, everyone talks about this, but like, dude, I did some like stupid stuff, like and if anybody filmed that, like it would be terrible.
I mean, I like, you know, not in any sort of malicious way, but from like 16 to about 23 or 4, I was I was basically a criminal. You know what I mean?
Of
just
course.
like, I didn't, you
clip
know,
that. Clip that, and
He's a criminal.
And, you know, alcohol and drugs and partying and doing stupid shit, and you know, So I was good. I mean, in a way, like, you know, I wasn't, you know, doing armed robbery or anything, but like. Yeah, you're just having a good time and taking chances and screwing around, and that stuff kind of made me in a way.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, and you look back on it fondly a lot of times, sometimes with a little like, whoa, what the hell was I doing? But also kind of like the good old days, like Pepperidge Farm remembers, kind of, you know, just like, you know, that was, you know, I used to get a little, you know, I used to get after it, kind of, you know, and you know, there's a finite element to that. But then I think people now, like, they, you know, I guess when I say like kids aren't drinking anymore, or like young people aren't drinking anymore, it's not a problem if somebody says they don't drink. That's not a big deal to me. But I tend to think a lot of them are on medication that they can't drink on, which that bothers me a lot. Like there's kids that are just on medication constantly for whatever reason. And then I also think, you know, there was churches where like when I was a kid, like churches were the people who like partied without drinking, not the Catholic one, they drank a lot, but the like Mormons, like I had friends who were like Mormons, and they would have literally root beer kegers, caffeine-free root beer kegers. Not my thing, but they had fun that way, and they did they probably ended up doing almost everything within reason that anybody else would have done, like going to a bar, I guess. Like they just didn't curse and whatever. But it was like I can tell right now kids are not really in church the way they used to be. Kids are not drinking. But I know what they're doing is just kind of like crashing out on the internet. And I'm like, that sucks to me.
Get out there and do a root beer keg stand and then soak for 20 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yes. On a crumble cookie, whatever you got to do, man. Like you have
Benson Boone on the Bluetooth.
Right.
I think the Mormon church is licking their chops right now at what the youth is doing right now, because they're just like, guys, you already don't drink. You guys love to eat.
We are
6,000 calories at a time. Yeah.
I've been saying for like the last 10 episodes, Mormons are up to something, man. They are up to, they got a plan for this century, and they
I for one welcome our Mormon overlords. They're cool, man. I like
the Mormons. I like the Mormons. I lived in Idaho for a long time, which is almost 4 years.
Their secondary hub. That's their secondary hub.
Man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. It really is. And they're great, man. Every Mormon I met was super cool. Like, and honestly, everyone that I met, which is key to me, they could take a joke about being Mormons,
because they all come from big families, and they also came from big families, so you could make fun of them about everything. Because like their brother would just like literally just beat the shit out of them. Like their 7 brothers would just beat the shit out of them.
Episode at the end where he's like, "Yeah, you're kind of a dick. I thought you were cool, but you're not like down with my." Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. No, they're cool because they're not like. It's weird because you're not a part of their tribe, right? Like they're not. Yeah. They have like certain days you don't go to their house. Like one of my closest friends growing up was Mormon. There was just like Sunday and Monday. Monday was their family night. Sunday was just like the church day. So I didn't exist to them on those 2 days. Anytime other time, I could just walk into their house like a sitcom, like a 90s sitcom, and just grab stuff out of their fridge like they're kid from down the street, like it was whatever they wanted. And they always loaded house, of course. I've never met a poor Mormon in my life. They all have a shit ton of money because the church invests in them. The church will give you money for being a good Mormon to start your own business and stuff, or buy a franchise or something like that. And but like what I mean is they advertise their shit pretty well. They're good at sports. They're like, they participate in non-Mormon society really well. And then like, whereas you'll see like, Jehovah's Witnesses or people like that, they're just really like no birthdays, nothing. Like, we don't do any of that. The cross is a torture device, and that's a worldly creature you're talking to. Get away from him. And it's like, that doesn't sound fun at all. So California had a lot of Mormons too. So like, we were always around them.
I remember, I'll never forget, there was a time, there was a company I worked for in Idaho, and which was based in California, and it was small. It had satellite offices, and there was a satellite office on the other side of Idaho. I lived in Boise, and there was one I think it was in Idaho Falls. Yeah. And at one point we got together with that office and had like a cookout somewhere in the state of Idaho. And the one guy who worked there was a few years older than me. He's probably 28 or 29. I remember meeting him, and I remember already knowing he was really competent at his job, at what he did. And then I met him as like good looking dude, not, no homo, but it was like, all right, this guy's got his shit together. Mm-hmm. And then I met his family, and his wife was a smoke show. And he had these 4 great, beautiful little kids. And he was only a few years older than me. And I was like, man, maybe I should be a Mormon. Like, maybe, I don't know if they'd take me, but like this guy seems like he's figured it out, whatever it is.
Balling, dude.
Well, and I have a meta thing about their Mormon, because like, I guess, well, like a lot of people know this but for a while, people never knew like what they actually believed in. And I guess the big reveal is like, you get a planet. That's why you want to have a huge family, because like, we're giving you a planet. Right. So like, there's gonna be plenty of room. Whatever. I think the planet, it's this one.
That's awesome.
They took it. It's already here. It's already theirs. They're like, yeah, we're going to another place when we die. Right. You guys are going to heaven or hell, famously. Right. We're going to Earth more.
Yeah, we get this one. Actually, I get this county that you're in right now. Actually,
I already have it. Yeah. The paperwork's been filed. I'm not even dead. Yeah.
You guys were drunk or on Adderall or something. I don't know, but we managed to.
Yeah. We had the root beer kegger. We hammered out the fine details. I'm totally. It's like, I just, that's so true. Like, you'll look and you're like, dude, this guy's like living like a 50-year-old boomer, but he's like jacked, you know,
Yeah.
or like
Right.
he's jacked and like with, like I said, beautiful family, money, and all that stuff. And I'm just like, dude, that's I stopped short of calling them a cult because I just don't think it's a cult, like in the way that,
think it is either.
but like of the ones that get that label, I'm like, that's the one right there.
You could do a lot worse than being.
We follow these, like my wife and I will follow on YouTube. We usually in the morning we'll watch a little YouTube eating breakfast, and we'll follow these like Mormon vloggers, and that's not their thing. They're just vloggers, you know, or whatever, but they happen to be Mormon, and they're and they have like their own. They fuck with other vloggers too, and they're in like Utah or whatever, and they're like, yeah, we rented this party boat for $50,000 a night, like come check, and they're just balling, dude. It's crazy. It's like, I swear, and I don't think no one knows like what they do. Like obviously they have YouTube money, but I'm sure they're funded by the church. Maybe a little bit, and it's like, dude, they get after it. Dude.
I think they get like financial guidance as children. Like I think is also part of it. I think somebody tells them, explains to them in very clear terms how to handle their money too.
Yeah, because that doesn't happen. Like Catholic, Protestant, or atheist kids in America don't get that. They're like, figure it out and go learn gender studies in college and make $200,000 a year. Oops, sorry, that didn't work out for me. You know, it's like, that's kind of like the extent of our advice that we get.
Well, I'm like, man, for something that reportedly was invented in like the 1800s, I'm like, it is maybe it's hitting it. Maybe this is okay. Ooh, here's another one. Catholicism right now is probably not at its highest point, right? I mean, in fact, we know it's not. But like, back in like 900 or something, it was balling out of control. Maybe this is like, since Mormonism was invented later, maybe we're in like the golden age of Mormonism right now.
It could be.
Like 1,000 years from now, they're fucked. Like everyone's gonna just be like, nah, we're actually like, there's gonna be Redditors against them, like in like 1,000 years, like Neil deGrasse Tyson type people, like that are specifically taking down the Mormon religion. Because the only people that take down Mormons are their own, who like escape, and those are always the saddest YouTube people of all time. They're always just like, I escaped the Mormon church,
right.
And everyone's just like, yeah, look at your house. I was like,
looks like they might have kicked you out.
You could have owned an H&R Block or two at this point. Like your house sucks, dude. Sorry, you should escape that and go back to church. Like, so it's just, I've seen those like where it's like, this is because I watched them, I'm like, what am I missing here? Like, because they didn't like gay marriage in California, and it was really funny. Like growing up, like we didn't care. But like the liberal families in the Bay Area, like if you lived with like a Mormon family, you'd be like, how's it going? Leave it to Beaver, like waving at people. And then all of a sudden, like we had Proposition 8, and Proposition 8, yes on 8 meant marriage is man and a woman. No on 8 meant like anybody can get married. Gay marriage is fine. I just remember seeing like the Mormon family just like hammering that yes on 8 sign into their front yard, and everyone looking at them, and it was really funny. And they were like, hey, and like they're just like, they were so like, well, this is what we believe. And they're like, dude, I have to believe this because I will receive a planet, this one I've already said, and B, I'm balling out. Like it's like we there's no unity amongst the other religion. Well, there is other religions, but not like the Christian religion. There's no unity. They all hate each other.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. No, the Mormons got it figured out. I tried to for a while. Like I tried to find a way to hate on them and go for it, man. Yeah. I'm fine. Do your thing.
And I can't. Yeah, it's So Brad, this is your second novel, right?
It is. Yeah, I got a bunch of more sort of on my hard drive that I'll never see in the light of day. But yeah, it'll be the second novel that you can actually get your,
Is it going to be like Kafka, where I'll just get your hard drive and publish all your novels?
Afterwards? Yeah, maybe. Okay.
Yeah. After you get your planet,
I'll tell you to burn them, but I'll wink real big.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Don't publish that laminated, those perfectly laminated things in my thing. Yeah, don't do that. Now I don't think the timeline's quite added up, but you've started you've done Mason's mushrooms, right?
Yeah. I've been I was eating I was taking Stamets. What's Paul Stamets' company? He had a mushroom blend for a while.
Hi, dude. Hi.
Yeah.
What's the first part of the testimonial?
Well, no.
Yeah.
I can't. This is
what is it? Yeah, something.
I was trying to find my way. I was like a
Michael
lost
Force.
boy in the woods. Yeah.
Michael
yes,
Force.
that's right.
Yeah.
And so I've been doing the Mason's mushrooms for a couple of weeks, but I just got another shipment. I just got a big hold on a second.
Yeah.
This jammer right here.
Yes,
RC,
the jar.
hashtag Ash
RC now. RC now, guys. You guys can go to RC now. 10% off your order, which I'm sure Brad abused.
I did.
To the fullest extent. QR
'Cause
code right here.
Oh,
You
no.
guys
There you
see
go.
it.
Nice.
Yeah,
Is the ant-
leveling up.
Nice.
Leveling
And
up
Banks.
for there. But yeah, the beautiful packaging of their stuff.
It is, though. They do a great job with their packaging for sure. So this literally came about, I don't know, a couple hours before we joined here.
And what is
And
that? Which
It's
blend
not
is
even
that?
open. This is deer antler.
Oh
This is
yes! Oh my
Super
God.
Feast deer antler.
Oh,
and I
R.I.P.
was
Brad's
my
wife.
goodness.
Sorry.
I,
Yeah.
I was a
Congratulations,
little
Brad.
I was a little afraid to take it right before we got on this because I thought I don't know.
Yeah,
I might not be
yeah.
able to contain myself. I might do
No,
something I
no.
regret,
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
that's gonna go. Now, I do have one question for you.
Uh-huh.
If you do this like time of the day, when do you hit the deer antler?
I do it as a pre-workout.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I to be honest, I try not to take this stuff too late because I will say the dreams go crazy. Like if you take like lion's mane, like it's nice, but like I don't like dreaming. I'm actually an anti-dreamer. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like hearing about people's dreams, but I don't even like having them myself. Like I quit smoking weed. That was the coolest part about smoking weed is you don't remember any of your dreams. I was like, you clearly do it. And something happened, but you just wake up and it's like Cheech and Chong, and you're just like, oh, sweet, like life again. Yeah. And but so I don't really do. I think the latest I'll mess around with any of these things, it will be like 5 or 6. But like again, if you like the dreams, like please like do it. Like their Shishandra blend is like really, really good. That's a berry, so it's a little bit different. But yeah, no, it's again, guys, promo code RC now. Check out. It's 10% off. Helps us, helps you. But you have you noticed anything like different about like about it, or have you felt the difference?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to describe because I got my wife to start taking it a few days ago.
Nice.
And she's like, well, what's the point? And it's like, there is this kind of difficult to describe, just increased sense of well-being.
Yeah.
I don't know if that, like, you just feel a little, it's hard to describe. It's not, it's not like you take it and your eyes light up like a cartoon and suddenly you got all this energy. There's just this sort of like, I don't know. I feel like I just feel generally a little bit better. I can't say that I've been immune effects are kind of hard to tell because it's like, I don't know if I haven't been sick because I didn't come across something or because I got my supplements on lock, but yeah, I would just say I generally feel better lately.
Yeah.
I am curious, I am, newsflash, I am going on 43 and the old testosterone is starting to dip.
Yeah.
Starting to so we're going to see if I can get those numbers up a little bit before I go on TRT, because I will, if I can't get my testosterone up into like a good range, solid range that I feel good about, I will go on TRT for sure. Like, I don't give a shit.
You're not gonna just let go of the T. Yeah, no,
nor should you.
Yeah. I will say, like, I've talked about this a lot. Like, how much of like testosterone is a frame of mind? I wonder. Like, I feel like you can't. Like, I feel like you can just. Now, I understand maybe if you contain the testosterone, and what I mean is like. I think a lot of people would say that like something's low T. It's like the memeified version of it, where it's like you sit like weirdly weird, or something, and like, oh, who sits like that, and you become that guy. But the for me, it's like I think if a lot of times like you'll see people that are like I'll see guys on the internet who are like doing TRT, taking every supplement in the world, and I'm like, you're still whining like a girl on the internet. I just like you haven't sold this to me well. So how much of it, but then I'll meet like a dude like a OG black dude or Mexican dude who like eats Wendy's every day.
Right.
And
he's got a 180 T, he's got
and he's just alpha as hell. So I'm like, how much of it is just like kind of your surrounding and stuff? I do wonder. I'd love to
you don't want to outsource it to a number or something. And I don't know. I think there's a whole, like, there are things like I think vitality is more important. There's things like maca, which by all scientific accounts do not raise your T, but it makes you feel like you could like rip through like a Bel Air hood, like sheet metal, and shit. And I think a lot of it's too, when people say T, they mean DHT. I'm not opposed to testosterone, TRT or anything. What's cool about DHT is you can get in like this up cycle thing where like higher DHT begets more DHT. Testosterone's important for sure, but like you can but I think I definitely think having, if you are low, I think TRT, I think you could live like 20 years better quality years with high testosterone, artificial or not, and it's worth it to do so. Absolutely. No question.
No, I'm like in the phase where I'm trying to figure out how much, and I'm not super low. I'm just a little bit below what I would like to be.
There's a threshold to be on this podcast, so you passed it. So,
right. But
and it's raising all the time, dude.
Right. It's a few more points every week.
You passed the 2026 level. You passed the 2026 standard, so you're good.
We had some low T, dude. 2022, we had some low.
Yeah, we did. On the I was one of them. I feel like.
Same. Yeah.
No, but man, like I like lifting weights and I like working. Like I work a lot. Like which I like doing. And I remember somebody that I know really well who's a bit older, not a lot older, 5 or 6 years older than me. He went on TRT and I was asking him, I was like, so what did you like notice as a difference? And he was similarly like not super low, but he wanted it to be. He wanted more like his 30s level of testosterone, and he's approaching 50 or whatever. And he's like, yeah, man, as soon as it sort of kicked in and I got my numbers back up, I started enjoying putting effort into things again. Yeah. And I was like, that's the difference. If that's the difference, then I want it. Like, So
because you can just work out, right? Like you can just do that. But like the almost habit forming muscle memory of doing that, I guess, is a little easier. I get, and that's what like these like the adaptogens and all of these things kind of help me with, where it's like like I'll see an AI video and I'll just be like, I don't want to see that. Right. Like I just and typically I'm like that anyways. Yeah. But like when I see like, look at this guy that brought the Mona Lisa to life, and like, and like she like does the duck lips, like
like
I'll just be like, you might as well just show me the devil incarnate at that point, right. And whereas in the past I would normally just go, that's gay, and then go to something else. Like to me, I have like this real visceral like look to it on these things. And I always bring up AI because being anti-AI now is like it's not fun anymore.
It's getting to be cringe to be anti-AI.
It is. It's not enough to get me back, but like it's just you see the people who are like anti-AI, right? And they'll be like, I'm anti-AI because I worked on this art film and now I don't have a job. And I'm just like, okay, that first off, I doubt it that's what happened. And like Marvel, you might have a case at like Marvel or something, but like you'll see all these people that'll be anti-AI, and I'm like, I'm just anti-AI as like an aesthetic and as just for things that are supposed to look cool and stuff. Like I'm anti in that sense, but like it's become kind of an era, like it's become kind of a thing where it's like, I love Tim Walz and I hate AI. That's like what that means now,
dude. Not to like, I don't know, everyone, not to be like cringe talking about this, but we did binge Pluribus, the show.
Was it good?
It's pretty good.
Okay, so everyone is talking. Okay, it's not bad at all. It's a great show.
I was bored by 2 episodes. I was extremely bored by the first 2 episodes.
Here's the thing: you hear people talk about it, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's about AI," and I'm watching it. I'm like, it's about how libtards all believe the same shit to me. Like I'm like, that's literally what it is. And it's like, I don't know. It's like AI. AI seems more forced for me, even if Gilligan thinks that's what he makes it about. I don't know. It's very,
I didn't see the AI thing really.
Yeah.
At all,
right. Am I crazy?
It's a hive mind. I mean, it's clearly a hive mind thing, right? Like, yeah.
And if you resist, you're crazy. What else? What does that remind you of?
Right.
If you don't, it's So I don't know.
But the AI, I guess what I mean is just like I remember a couple years ago we could talk about like AI And there would, I know even the people that would oppose it or now on the grounds of it's ruining the film industry and it's putting people out of work. But like, if they found out that I wasn't wearing a mask in public and AI found me, they'd be like, great, love it. Like, so I'm always just like, wait, so you just hate what it's doing right now, or do you hate the fundamentals of it or something?
And we had a good, our first ever pod together, we had a really good discussion about this, I think, right? With all three of us. Yeah.
Oh, that's
that was
what
good.
I mean. It was years, I mean, at this point, a couple years ago at this point.
Yeah. And also for me, AI isn't just, I mean, there's like ChatGPT, then there's like machine learning, which is like, there are different ghettos in this kind of thing. And I think, or like, image creation. The videos are fucking insane. They're so bad. The videos are not good. And
well, I think it's, I mean, I don't know. I think it is important to distinguish, like, I've in my head distinguished Gen AI versus like what other people are just sort of marketing as AI, which isn't really necessarily artificial intelligence in any like real sense. Doesn't have, I don't know. And mostly I make that distinction because one of the things that the Chat GPT and the Gen AI sort of people will use to make sure that you're on board with the whole thing is like, yeah, but what about when AI solves cancer or cures cancer? You're like, that's not what Chat GPT is doing. That's some boutique piece of software that somebody developed to do a particular thing to a particular set of data. If you think that's the same thing as like, offshoring your brain to your cell phone, it's not, it's really not the same. It's just what people use, to me, in my opinion, to get the other thing in the door and get everybody on board with it. But I don't know, but it is becoming cringe to kind of fight back or push against it. And I've kind of stopped ranting and raving about it for the most part.
It's also here. It's here.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
I just, it's like, I try my best not to use that stuff, but I'll be damned if that thing can't put a resume together. My goodness.
That's what I'm saying.
Dude,
and then what are you supposed to do in situations like that where it's like literally everybody's using it and I'm going to just like shoot myself in the foot competitively by not, I don't know.
You want to the real relationships in your life that you want to keep sovereign. You need to put up the no AI as best you can in those things. And then everything else who gives a shit, that's kind of what
that's where I'm at. Like, I'm not going to use it for writing because I actually like writing. Like, so I'm not, what would be there's so many reasons why there's no point to that. And I'm not going to use it in creating content for my podcast because I actually like I could make it. I do these madness episodes that are these weird rabbit hole. I could get AI to write that probably, but then like, what fucking fun is that? Like,
you know what I want to use it for?
Yeah.
This is a more boutique thing. Taking rare books or PDFs or what have you, and turning them into real audiobooks that actually sound kind of good that you can listen to, right? Where that would not be on Audible, right? And, that's what I want.
That's cool.
You just be like, do it like Ian McKellen.
Yeah.
That'll be easy to do.
It's probably be pretty good.
Or KRS-One.
KRS-One. KRS-One reads Les Miserables. Yeah. And I might check it out. Yeah.
It could be cool. It could be cool. But no, like my wife, for her job, she's part of her role is sort of getting AI, figuring out how to use AI at her company. And she started to use things more. And we got ChatGPT to come up with like a tax plan for us to just sort of figure out these various financial things that we've got going on. And I'll tell you, dude, it gave us better ideas than our tax guy did. Our tax guy was just like, had no ideas. We were like, literally, there's no way we should be paying this much in taxes, right? And he's like, yeah, what are you going to do? Like, all right, thanks.
Yeah, no, and it's like seriously, any legal stuff. Like, how do I set up an S corp? It's like, and it's it's like, come on.
So
I know. Again, like, it's like that is kind of a refined search engine thing. So you could say like maybe we had been kind of doing that for a lot of time. This is kind of a refining of that. But like, I think to me, like you said, things that are normal humans enjoy doing. And I think there's no coincidence that when we're in like a desolate art zone right now, like kind of just, we're like really not in a good place in terms of art right now. It's kind of no coincidence that like AI steps in, I get more mad at that than the tech because, I'm of a person where evil will always exist, but the demand for it's the scariest part a lot of times. To me, it's like, I know a lot of like, because I mean, just a few years ago, it was Will Smith's spaghetti video, right? Like, stupid. Nobody likes it. Right now, you can do like, I don't know, Maduro like doing the gritty dance. Like, you can like kind of do that, and it's like, it's not, that's not real, but it's like Photoshop, and it's like, okay, I get it. Like 5 years from now, I could see like kind of competent AI video work being done, because nobody's doing anything that interesting right now. And then like that, and like to me right now, if we had like Alfred Hitchcocks right now, or if we had Charles Dickens, or like any of these people like that are legends and stuff, if they were like here to actually test their work against AI in real time, I would love to. But it's like, that's the problem, is like, I think I would love for AI, all these people that are chimping out about AI, I'd love to see what you created. I'd love to see like what you've done as an aggressive, the world's burning because this thing I chimp out about constantly. Like, here's my book. Here's my I mean, you did it, Brad. So that's good. I mean, your book is good. And I don't think AI could write The Earth in Dark as well as you did. So like, you won. Like that, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't. They cry about it because they're like, I used to be the key grip on like this movie. Like, just like okay.
Right.
Like, I'll take the word for it. Letterboxd.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. Like, I do think I am getting more and more and more sort of put up or shut up about this kind of stuff.
Yes.
Not that there's not room for criticism and complaint and sort of pointing out that stuff sucks, and whatever. Like, I think I tweeted something clowning on the new Avengers movie not too long ago. So it's, not to say there's no room for that, but there is a certain element of like, well, just make something,
Yeah, and I'm sorry, like the pre-AI 2010s Netflix era was so great. It was so I'm so sad that that's over. And it's very
the way we invited the vampire in.
Yeah,
is what I mean. Like like, that's the problem with all of this, because there wasn't a lot going on.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of the issue. And like, there's a lot of people who think movies are great right now. I'm sorry, they're not. Like, people think music's great right now. Music's terrible. That's why I just heard a Motown cover of Hotel California on YouTube the other day by AI. And guess what? I would love to have been like, well, this isn't as good as, what do I listen to now? I don't fucking know. It's sad. With AI, similar to like the DoorDash and like all of those kind of things that people love to clown on, like that helped us do a COVID lockdown, right? Like, it helped, like that stuff had to be in place. Like, you could not have done a COVID lockdown in 1972. You could not have done it. People would eventually have gone outside because there's just, I'm sorry, they had to. It's just, it was the tech wasn't in place. So right now, when I see this cottage industry of people freaking out about AI but not creating anything, I go, well, this is the perfect time for AI to take over, I guess.
Yes.
Like, I don't want it to. I would prefer humanity to win. And if you're mad that I'm saying this, or you think I'm changing my opinion, like, this should immediately motivate you to try to go do something.
Yeah. Go do, for real. Go do something. That's
do something.
I mean,
it's a magnifier, and I'm not trying to make it like an IQ thing. That's not my focus, but it does. If you're like over a certain threshold of smartness, it magnifies. You're like cranking shit out, and if you're not, you're doing like spaghetti videos, and it's kind of it's a pretty deep. It's a deeper reflection of just who you are and like your potential anyway, I find. And people are like, AI can't code, and I'm like, I've written shit with it that I could have never done on my own.
It can totally code.
You have to, obviously you can't be a retard. No, you have to walk through it with it, but I don't know. It's just a force multiplier.
The idea that it will never be able to do X like a human or whatever, that argument to me is cope. I think that's totally cope. I don't think that's the case. I think it'll be able to code as good as the best coder in some amount of time. It'll be able to make a film that's sort of up to, modern cinema standards is what's good. It will be able to do that. I don't think, I mean, maybe this is sort of blasphemous to the hardcore anti-AI crowd, which I still sort of consider myself part of.
Yeah.
But I don't think the arguments of it won't be able to do this are actually that's where to hang your hat. I think if you're really against AI, the argument to me where to hang your hat is that it's going to make us as human beings stupider.
Yeah.
That's what
we as humans, we subconsciously love to meet something halfway. Like we
Mhm.
love to, it's again, not to bring it back to COVID, but the submission, we shall Welbeck level submission and
Mhm.
rationalization of like, well, I'll meet this thing halfway. And it sounds like that's like people could misconstrue what we're saying right now as such. However, what I mean is kind of like, okay, like I know that's AI, and then you start creating to imitate AI is what I
Right.
mean. That's always
Right.
been my fear, is that
Right.
like, okay, yeah, look at that obviously stupid AI, but then somebody's like, I didn't use any of it, and it looks exactly like that because you're trying to meet it halfway. And you're like, no, that's my problem with it. Is like, I still like humans can still decide to be different. Like that's like I'm such a free will person that like I try not to do the whole Skynet thing, like because I just don't think there's going to be. I think it's a slower death than that.
I think so too.
Yeah, it's not as fun.
I think the second big cultural danger right now is that we're actually over financially invested in it. Like,
yeah,
if you look at like the Fortune 500 and look at how much money they're investing in AI and how much it's not paying off for them right now, it's kind of scary, man. It's like if all of the richest people in the world were spending half of their money on, I don't know, fill in the blank. Yeah. And it turned out that thing they were buying was worth nothing. That's a fucking problem.
Yeah. There's no diversification of funds anymore. And the OpenAI ChatGPT financials are retarded, dude. They're like, weren't they just like, give us $1 trillion. And they're like, well, what's your like plan for the company? And they're like, we're going to do chatbot and ads. And it's like, okay,
like the Boston Robotics, where they just put a Trader Joe's Hawaiian shirt on it, and like it runs down a hill, and and they're like, this is what we've accomplished,
right?
And it's not to show you like this innovation. It's like, with $1 billion more, we can make this thing in anything from Kohl's.
Yeah.
It can wear anything from Kohl's and can run up the hill. And
everybody's just like freaking out to invest in it, right?
And they're like, shut up and take my literally fry, like from
Dance to Billie Jean.
But the commercials, I don't know if you guys have seen it, because I do still watch regular television, but like the AI, the ChatGPT commercials are kind of a white pill to me, because I'm like, you shouldn't have to advertise something this much. There's so many of them. There's the guy who's like, how do I do pull-ups? And then they start playing that Simple Minds song, because that's how you get anyone's attention, is like 80s synth pop now. That's how you get anybody's attention. So that starts playing. The guy does like pull. I'm just like, wouldn't you just grab a bar? And first off, like pull-ups, like anybody who works out, like if you try to just do 5 pull-ups and then quit, like that's not a very good workout. So like it's just stupid. Like just your pull-ups are hard to do. It's okay to admit that. Like they're really hard to just. It's really hard to just like be the guy who does it on the don't walk sign, like, publicly and stuff. It's really hard to do. So just like pick a better workout or anything. And apparently that's what like ChatGPT is telling him in the commercial, and it's scrolling over the Simple Minds song, but it's played every 5 seconds of the commercial. And I go, man, if this was really that sick, I don't think they would need. I don't think they need to advertise it the way they do.
No, they don't. They wouldn't. I mean, that's a really good observation. I don't think that they would have to. I saw one of these ads, and I feel like it was for a phone, but it was for like a cell phone, but it was also basically telling you could use ChatGPT to take a photo of something and ask a question. And in the commercial, the guy was asking about his plant, what to do to take care of this plant he had in his tiny, pod that he was living in.
One plant.
And it was he had one plant. He could only accomplish. That's all he could do.
I related to that commercial a lot.
It basically, the phone explained to him that the plant will like stretch and move to get more sunlight, and he did not know this. And I was like, dude,
Yeah.
If we need the phone to explain to us like second grade biology, we are cooked.
Yeah, how light works.
That's what I mean. Like, and that guy will be like, "I am unemployed because of AI," and it's like, you didn't know that plants do that,
right?
Like,
right. Or he'll have $120,000 as like a year dollars a year job as like a data analyst. And you're like, how are you? How are you? Like,
no,
it doesn't make any sense.
It goes back to the doctor that can't fucking carve a dovetail joint. You know, it's like, fuck, dude. That's like, that guy can't grow a plant. Dude, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. So, Brad, I guess the last question I want to talk about now. Everybody, can you pre-order your book, or does it just?
No, it's just coming out. Yeah,
coming out.
It'll just be out. Yeah, no, it's Amazon. It's Amazon Pay. It's Amazon print on demand.
Print on demand, and there will be ebook copies. I mean, that's how I.
There will.
Right? Okay,
yeah.
So,
no, there'll be ebook on. I am part of the. I mean, I don't have it here, but I'm all about the ebook. That's
the
all
ebook
I read
mafia. Yeah, the ebook mafia grows day by day. That's one that you resist, and then you just go, "Oh man!" As soon as you open it up, you're like, "This is perfect,
dude." And as as a book related podcaster, who's got to read multiple things, there's no other way to do it. But yeah, so it'll be available on Amazon and also Kobo, because I am part of the Kobo coalition. So it'll be available. It'll be available for that too. There's also I'm also running a hopefully this is interesting to people. I'm also running something of a kind of promotion. So I have my podcast, Method Madness, madmethodpod.com. Glenn and I are doing an episode not too long on Mumbo Jumbo.
I can't wait. Bay Area legend Ishmael Reed. Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah. So I'm doing a special for that, as people do. I have a Substack and Patreon. You get access to extra episodes plus early access. But any time in the year 2026, if you get a annual subscription, I need you to do the whole thing. You can't do 1 month at a time, because you could just take advantage of this and skip town. I will send you, if you're in the US anyway, I will send you no additional charge. I will send you a physical copy of The Earthen Dark. It will include a 1-card tarot reading with the card that's exclusive to you. And I'm going to have 2. So I have, where'd it go? Hold on. I have all these manuscript pages because I edit by hand. You'll also get 2 of these that are, if you're into like physical, actual stuff, you'll get 2 pages of, old drafts with my chicken scratches on them. You can see how things used to be, things that changed, whatever. So do that. You'll get all the Method Madness benefits. So I'm trying to vertically integrate shit that I'm doing.
That's a good idea.
That's appealing to people. Yeah.
So I my question with all of this, and again, I finished the book, guys. I highly recommend. It's great.
Thanks,
it's the ending is awesome. That's all I can say. Awesome. Like, the ending is like, I had no idea what you were going with it, and I was like, that's even better than I could have ever imagined. That's my tease to that. And then what's your expectations for the book? Like I run a podcast. My expectation, I could tell you what 5 years from now what I think will be, but like I'll probably overestimate it because I'm really confident in what we do. I'll probably overestimate it. You can never understand. You just can't predict how the public's going to actually find and interact. What is it as an author with each individual book? Like, do you actually shoot for the stars, like sales wise, when you write a book? I don't know. This is a genuine question for me. No. I mean, the reason it's a really good question. So when House of Sleep came out in 2021, I had 100 followers on Twitter. And that was my social media presence, right? I didn't know anybody. I didn't know you guys. I didn't know anybody. I didn't have a podcast myself, nothing. So at that point, I was just like, man, it would be really, really, really cool if I could sell 100 copies to strangers, right? 100 people I don't know bought it. That would be freaking mind blowing. This is after I'd put away my delusions of grandeur as a younger. I should this might be interesting to people who are writers out there. I had this very dark night of the soul experience as a writer. So I did the MFA thing, right? I went to a top shelf MFA, and this is not to boast about that, but I literally watched a guy in the year ahead of me get $1 million book deal and a film option before he graduated, right? And
a year after I graduated, I was scraping zebra mussels off the bottom of a boat.
Damn.
And so that was like man, was this stupid? Like, am I an idiot? Like, am I not, you go through a lot of things trying to figure a way out of that. I eventually kind of got myself back around to the point of basically starting over. And so House of Sleep, hey man, if I can sell 100 copies to strangers, that would be awesome. I don't really care about the money. I want to sort of get something of a reputation, get maybe some quote unquote fans, whatever that means. And then, now I have a little bit of sort of presence on the internet. I have people who are anticipating this book coming out, which is super gratifying to me.
Yeah.
I do have a number of copies that I think would be really cool to sell. I don't know if I should say it or not.
That's fine. Yeah.
I do have a number of copies that I'd like to sell in mind, and I think it's doable. I have a sort of a 1 month and a 1 year sort of thought process about this, because obviously you're not going to sell them all at once. And yeah, I mean, my plan, my long-term plan, I have multiple projects in the pipeline. I'll have a short story collection coming out in 2020, early 2027.
Sick.
Hopefully I'll have a novel done and ready in 2028. I'm trying to do, we'll see if this happens. I'm trying to do a book in each of the next, well, I should say, including this year, in 4 consecutive calendar years is what I'm shooting for. And then, I mean, hopefully at some point, that builds into something. It's difficult to really make any money in that world, for sure. And so,
how committed to you are you like the, man makes plans and God laughs thing? Are you like, are you hard on yourself when it doesn't go directly to like a deadline, or are you kind of like, it's okay,
Yeah, no, I am. And the Earth and Dark is frustrating to me. And I learned, I try not to make the same mistake twice, but I did learn, I finished the book actually more than a year ago. I finished it in October of 2024, and then started shopping it around. And by the time anybody got back to me, who was interested in publishing it, which did eventually happen, they were like, and this was a few months ago, it was like, yeah, we can maybe get it out in 2027. And I'm like, so I'm supposed to wait like 3 years after I finish the book before it even goes out? Like, I'm not going to do that.
Wow.
Like, I live in the internet age thing, man. Like, things have to happen, right?
I get you actually sacrifice something by doing that? I don't know that you did.
I don't think so.
Did you think there was that number? Yeah, like that number you had in your mind. Do you think you were like, shit, should I have waited? Because I don't think you did. It doesn't,
don't think so.
Influence the way I buy something.
I think in the publishing industry, I think the literary and publishing and fiction and all of that, I think it's sort of gradually catching up to, like, I was talking to my wife about this the other day. It's like Napster, you think about the music industry, Napster, and then Spotify and YouTube Music. The effect it had on the quote unquote record industry, like what the hell even is the record industry anymore? That same thing is in the process of happening in the literary scene. And we just need a handful of breakout pieces that people have self-published to really like catch on in some big way, or become, anybody who's trying to do this as a career, they dream of the film adaptation, mostly because they see dollar signs, for sure, which is fair. And what we need is somebody to turn Andrew Edwards' Crowbar into a movie, or something along those lines.
I didn't realize how good he was. I didn't realize how good he was. I didn't know who he was. I found him through you. He was like, "Hey, Glenn." Brad said, I was like, "Yeah, I'll give it a." And that's the beauty of the ebook; it just shows up, and I'm like, "Well, I'll start reading this." It's only 200 some odd pages, and I was like, "Oh, I was like floored." But right, like we need that. So I think what you're saying, to go along with your metaphor here, is that we need the SoundCloud rap era of fiction. I think I'm serious too.
Which I think I think you're right, and I think there are sort of little pockets of that sort of happening. Absolutely. These little scenes. I mean, New Ritual Press, Dan Baltic and Matt Pegasus thing is doing cool stuff. Farthest Heaven is doing cool stuff. These little sort of pockets that aren't, they also. There's been small presses around for a long time, but those were all to varying degrees ideologically captured. And so what we're starting to see is like the emergence of shit that's going to be cool, and not like not necessarily edgy, transgressive, spit in your eye cool to do that, but just like sort of not not neutered necessarily,
Right.
and kind of willing to go there to a certain degree. So all that's to say is like all that stuff is kind of happening, and it's it's a little bit of a slow process, but Sai, you asked a great question of like, do you like make plans and God laughs, and dude, that is part of how it works. But it's like, this is going to sound super cheesy, but it's like the only piece of like advice or whatever I would ever give anybody in the artistic world. It's like every good story that you've ever been inspired by or whatever in another person, it ends with, and they did it anyway.
Yeah.
And so that's sort of what I try to like on board. It's just like, yeah, man, okay, that's the thing. It sucks. And I'm not going to tell you I never had like moments of frustration or I never like gave up or like whatever. All that shit did happen for sure. But it's just like, I don't know, man. Also, here's the other thing. I'm too old to like figure out a new trick. I'm not, I mean, like,
you said it, dude. Yeah. I hear
like,
you.
What am I gonna do? I'm gonna like figure out I'm not gonna figure out something new. I'm either gonna get really fucking good at the handful of things I'm already sort of good at, or I'm gonna,
that's good. That's true. That's very
I'm gonna go to Coaches and get a stool with my name on it.
The wood paneled bar, which is very author core, by the way.
It is. It is.
That's a very author. I mean, the books might actually. That might not be bad for the literary career, actually, because there was that one. There's people that always like, you should just go to a bar and get blacked out drunk, and you'll be a great author. Like people legit think that.
I did do that for a while, so yeah, I've got my street cred in that regard. At least
a lot of authors that really did that. So it's some ones that sold well, some that sold well for a while, then died of cirrhosis of the liver, and then it's true.
And a bunch who would drunkenly tell you how good of a writer they are, never actually wrote anything or bothered to try.
No,
you don't hear about those guys.
That's the bad one. No, because like for me, like with us, this is something I always wanted us to do. Like our whole I was like, I just wanted us to do it. And since we knew each other since 2004 or whatever, something like that. But just that like we would be listening to like MF Doom Special Herbs and Spices in like high school. And just chatting about something. And, there's part of you that thinks like, am I the only person that finds this interesting?
Yeah.
Right.
Like this conversation we're having. And sometimes the answer is yes, but I want to know the answer, and that's why we started this. And for a while, the answer was no, it's not interesting because it's only you and SoundCloud robots that listen to this, who I like to think are real people, by the way. Somebody has to run that account.
Yeah.
Maybe they like RC, like, and maybe they're like, I have a side hustle where I scam people, but for a while we had nobody, and I'm like, it's weird, like, but I'm having fun doing this. So then there's like this kind of odd like honeymoon phase where you're kind of like, I want this to get done. Like, I want this to get done. It's just really fun to do. I don't care what it is. But then after a while, a few people do find it, and then you start playing the multiplication game, and you start going, how many of these people that love this and say they listen every week? What's the actual like how many times? What's the multiplier I can put on?
What's the carrying capacity?
And
exactly.
Now we're moving kilos of deer antler, and we got fake fan accounts on Twitter following.
Oh, really? I didn't know about that.
Shout out to our fake fan. I don't know if it's a hater or a lover. I cannot tell as much of who.
It's sometimes it's a blurry line between the two. Sometimes
they haven't said anything bad yet, so keep it going.
It might be AI. It might be AI.
That's fine. That's the best case scenario, to be quite honest. If somebody's just AI promoting us, I'm fine with that. But like, shout out to that. We do have that on there. It's just kind of like, like to me, if we were to. The reason I ask about like numbers or like is there a certain thing that makes you consider it successful or not is when we started this, if I had a number in mind, we would have quit.
Yes. Yeah.
Like because it's got to be fun, but then also fun things aren't fun forever. I mean, this is still really fun, but it's also fun because people listen.
Right. No, you need that. I mean, it's kind of silly to not think that you need that, like some degree of like feedback from a quote unquote audience or whatever. I will tell you what, on January 12th, if nobody buys The Earth and Dark, that's going to hurt my feelings. I'll be straight up with you.
It's going to hurt my feelings. It's going to hurt my feelings. Right? I'll cry with you.
Listeners, you heard it.
We're pretty good. Our
We'll buy
audience usually supports the bros on the.
Yeah,
on the
no,
show.
no,
I've
there'll definitely be. I know that won't happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is this weird. I know exactly what you mean in terms of like the numbers thing, because as soon as you get whatever 100, then it's like, well, if you can get 100, you can get 1,000.
100 is crazy. You're right. It's 100.
And if you can get 1,000, you could get 10,000, right?
The
like
scaling is fun, you know, and
yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Because your idea is that, well, I'm never at the cap, like I'm never at the peak, because how would I know that? I know I'm not. The only way you'd know you're at the peak is that if everyone was, if like the U2 album that showed up on everyone's phone that one day, if that was the Earth and Dark, but then everybody was like, don't ever send me a Brad Kelly book again. That's how the only way you would know. That's the only way. That's the only way you know. Otherwise, it's to go back to tunnels and digging and stuff.
Yeah.
The diamonds are on the other side and you're almost there.
Right.
And that's kind of how you have to operate. It's kind of the never kill yourself meme in a way, where it's just like it's fun. You want to. It definitely has to be fun. It has to be fun, but also you need to realize you're like, there's more people I know that can help this out, and that's why, like, I don't mind asking for people to leave reviews. I don't mind that. There's people that are too cool for that, because I'm like, there's a lot of people that just listen and then go do something else or like that. So like with your book, when it does come out, people should go review it, say where they found out about it too.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, do that, say where they found out about it and all these things. And like just that, it costs you really nothing. Like the other day I got a Home Depot delivery, not to brag, it was a big shelving unit. And they did lean it against my garage door, which I was like kind of mad about.
Yeah, that's not
but
cool.
The second, I know who leans it against the garage door. This thing was huge.
I'm
telling you. And so we got another thing that came in. It was the part 2 of this thing, and it was heavy, and it was on Christmas Eve, and the guys came through and they were like, hey, if you don't mind, like, leave us a review. And I was like, damn, that probably does help you. It probably helps everybody. Like, everything's so like review based now. So like for a lot of people, like I think there's this, like, if you have a genuine interest in trying to help somebody, like, just do shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Buy a person's book, right? Buy a person's book and read it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and do that. And tell somebody about it. And if you liked it, and I genuinely like, your book, Kelby's book, David's book, Andrew Edwards' Crowbar. Like I like these books. Like, I've had books sent to me that I just didn't really like, and I just kind of don't say anything back.
There's good stuff out there right now for all the people that you mentioned and more, but there is good stuff out there right now, man. Like, if you're a reader, you can be, and the other kind of cool thing is, like, you can sort of discover somebody to a certain degree, right? You read, my book that comes out, I'm not doing Don DeLillo numbers. I'll tell you that much, right? Mm-hmm. So you're in on, you can be cool, actually.
You could.
Right?
Hey, that's actually a really good marketing thing. It's like, do you want to just be the guy buying Underworld at the store?
Yeah. Right. Do you want to be in on something that other people, that people don't know about?
That's very good. Yeah. Well, Brad, I do look forward to our chat on Method and Madness podcast, talking about Mumbo Jumbo by Ishmael Reed. It sounds like I'm going to be stumbling into a heck of a book. I cannot wait.
I don't know much about it other than it's crazy, and I've been wanting to read it forever.
He has a crazy Wikipedia page. Like, he's just like, he's like, he was just like total, like, successful black guy during, like, civil rights movement and stuff. So, like, he's just like, all of a sudden you're appearing on, like, Sun Ra albums and, like, stuff, and like it just happens, and then you're like, and I live next to Sly Stone or whatever in Oakland, and it's just all these, like, he's just like a total, like, Forrest Gump type guy, like, where it's just anything cool that happened around, like, black people in this time, like, he was there. And also maybe things that weren't that cool, he was also there. And so his book, I'm also curious about him, because he's not talked about in the way like James Baldwin, other guys. I'm like, does he say naughty things? I feel like he says naughty things.
I got a feeling he's not with the program.
I gotta I'm sure, like, I'm like, there's gonna be something in this book. There's a reason he's not celebrated right now, when that's definitely what people do, is like, just this author from back then. He's a black civil rights. I'm just like, what is this guy talking about? So I'm fascinated with that. So everybody go check out Method and Madness podcast. There is an episode of Libra, which it's on Gain of Fiction. It's on there. You can check that out. Guys, on that note, everybody have a safe week, and we will catch you guys next time.
Later.